Hi. Hi everyone. How are you all doing? Good, I hope. Let me know in the comments if you can hear me all right. Yeah, welcome to my new channel. Bit of an experiment tonight. I just had some work to do on this Walkman, so I thought why not do a live stream and we can test out my new channel, we can test out my live setup. Oh, it seems like it's slightly hot, the audio. Let me just turn it down a little. Let me know how it's going for you. Right, got some messages. John Lewis, lasers at the Albert Hall for Robin and Brian were awesome. Thank you, John. Were you there in person, or is it just from the videos? Such an incredible experience. Like the Albert Hall, it's my second time that I've done some lasers at the Albert Hall. First time I had two 12-watt lasers. The second time I had 12 30-watt lasers and two 11-watt lasers. So it was kind of a step up. Yeah, it was a really incredible experience. I had a really good group of people working for me. It's a hell of a lot of gear and equipment to lug around. You know, some of the best artists that I've ever worked with before. Sophie Ellis-Bextor was incredible. My personal favourite was Sony, who just came out and did one track, and it was a track that I knew. You know, I used to be quite into Sony, and I kind of forgot. So when he popped up, it was like, oh yeah, excellent. And that sort of drum and bass groove is really nice to do lasers for, so I had an absolutely brilliant time. So yes. Oh, you were there for real, John. Whereabouts were you in the audience? I hope you could see. It was a great night, wasn't it? Really, really cool. Ben Everard, loud and clear, that's great. So Simon is on the chat. Hi, Simon. It's Simon's Walkman that we have the privilege of looking at today. I gather he's missing it quite considerably. I'm not surprised, really, because it's a beautiful artefact in excellent condition. Look at this, it's even got the label on it. Simon sent it off to a fancy Walkman repairer and got an extortionate estimate how much to fix it. But actually these devices are relatively straightforward to work on. I'm not, you know, it's funny because I've already had this open a little bit, so some of this is a bit of reworking stuff I've done already, but I've learned a few extra bits that I'll be doing today. But working on this has been really nice because I probably haven't owned a cassette recorder for 20 years or so, but I used to use them all the time, right? So it's all flooded back to me, like how they work, how to clean them, and they're very simple, nice things to work on, especially when I'm used to doing like iPhones or like really fine, very tiny components work. It's funny because I've actually found the service manual to this, and in it they've done a full explanation of what a surface mount component is, and in the manual they refer to them as chip components, which is a very old-fashioned term, I think. And the surface mount components in this Walkman, like obviously cutting edge at the time, they seem really massive and chunky now compared to the surface mount components that I work with on a daily basis. Anyway, what was wrong with it? Well, apparently the headphone jack was a bit wrong, getting a mono response at certain points. I must admit, I couldn't find that issue. But it might, you know, I've had a good look inside there. I've also cleaned it out thoroughly. It might have been a bit of dirt that was causing that on some headphones, perhaps. I also, I cleaned it with contact cleaner. I also checked the solder joints, and they looked fine to me. I mean, we could reflow them today. It might just be worth doing that anyway, just in case. Simon, you were at Quality Lasers. Were you at both Albert Hall gigs? You were at the first. Anyway, yes, I don't know. I didn't see you there. It was all in the middle of. Did I see you there? It was kind of a blur. It was a real a real busy time. Sorry, Simon, I'm not with it. I'm fully concentrated on your amazing Walkman. So the other main, not necessarily the main problem, but another problem was that it's running quite fast. So I think that's quite an easy adjustment now I've looked it up. It should just be a simple pot. But one thing I wanted to check before I did anything was I've got this reference tape here. Actually, Simon, you could tell me if did you buy this reference tape or did you make it? I'm not sure. But there's this reference tape which should be a 3000 Hertz signal. And Simon telling me that you're at Apollo and RAH. You're at both of the RAH events I did. So yeah, Simon and I go way back. I haven't seen him for a long time, but yeah, we've known each other for a long, long time. All right, let's play this reference tape. So this reference tape should be 3000 Hertz. You can hear it there. I think you can hear it. Can you hear it? It's coming out my headphones here. Real easy way to do this. I'm sure there's better software, but I've just found this free app on the App Store. What's it called? Sound Spectrum. And if I turn this on, you should, can you see that on the screen? You should see a peak here. If I put the headphones, this high-pitched noise. Apologies to anyone like me who suffers from tinnitus. But I don't know if you can see that. Let's maybe zoom down on that a little. So you can see that peak there, and it's just a little over 3000 Hertz. 3000 Hertz is that point, so it's just a little the wrong side. But one thing I wanted to check was I'm actually running this. Let's just see if I can figure out exactly where it is. I would say that's probably, if this is 3500, this is 3000. It's probably around 3100, I would say. But I just wanted to see if that was the same, whether I was running the Walkman on rechargeables or on actual alkali batteries. Rechargeables famously are a little bit lower voltage than traditional batteries, so I just wanted to see if that made any difference. I would hope that a Walkman has some sort of regulator in there to kind of regulate the speed. But I'm curious. I thought I'd just do this. I'll pop in some ordinary Duracells and see if we get the same level there. Right, there we are. I would say that is a tiny bit higher actually. Yeah, so I think it's running a little faster on that slightly higher voltage. So, so let's have a look. Simon's messaging me. Can't remember what he sent me. Oh, it's this. It says it's recorded on a Sony TCK555 ESJ. I think your cassette decks are Technics, right? So I'm assuming you got this from somewhere else. Anyway, I'm going to assume, for the sake of this and my sanity, that this actually is 3000 Hertz and hasn't been recorded on a machine that's running slow or fast. So let's just assume that it is. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think that's all I need to deal with. So yes, one thing, Simon, you can tell me is if you regularly run this off rechargeables, or whether you use actual batteries. Obviously, ideally, you should use rechargeables. In fact, it runs a bit closer to the right speed on rechargeables. So I'm going to continue with rechargeables. Let's set this up so that it runs pretty well on rechargeables. And then that way, Simon, you can save the planet whilst still enjoying a bit of retro goodness. Right. Okay, so that's that experiment out the way. Let's get this open. So it's pretty easy to open. These 4 screws on the back. Let's see. Let me find my good screwdrivers. I put them. Oh, my place. If you could see outside the range of this camera right now, you would not be impressed. It's pretty atrocious. Let's so bad that I've lost my good screwdrivers. Yeah, nice work, so I'm real professional. Alright, I'll use my second best screwdrivers. I'm sure that'll be fine. So there are these big screws on the outside. Now, I did say that these are quite robust, these devices. But at the same time, you know, obviously they are really old. So, you know, it's worth being super careful with them. But yeah, I think part of the reason I wanted to do this was just to show that they are relatively easy to work on. And if you're careful, you shouldn't, well, you know, I'm probably jinxing myself, but, you know, you shouldn't need, for basic, simple stuff, you shouldn't need to spend loads of money on an expert. You know, particularly for things like cleaning the head. You know, you shouldn't, you know, all you need is a cotton bud and some meths or like IPA. That's probably all you need. I might just find something soft to put this on. My desk is relatively soft with the cutting mat, but it is slipping around a bit, so let's have a quick look. So you can't see the screws there, but just so you know, the outside ones there and there were the larger screws, and these two smaller screws are in the inside. But you know, if you've got a mat like this, you can sort of keep track of what's what. I would definitely recommend one of these magnetic mats if you're into it. Then it's not free yet. The next thing you have to do is actually get these sort of, they're these kind of clips. Well, not clips. What would I call them? They're metal bars that, you know, you put your straps on to put over your shoulder at a jaunty angle for when you're walking down the street looking super cool. But they actually have a screw inside, so we want to get those open too. Quick check of that. It's using rechargeables. I was worried about the wrong adapter. Rechargeables are totally fine, so that's cool. But I'll tune them on rechargeables so that if you put standard alkali batteries in, it might run a bit fast. But that's cool. You want it to run right on rechargeables, I think. I'm keeping Simon from his dinner. Sorry, Simon. Super nice to see you. I thought you might appreciate this live stream. Okay, so we unscrew these two screws here. And there is a kind of center sort of standoff there. See that? It's like a screw inside a sort of, I'm not sure what I'd call that really, standoff. So the sort of metal kind of ring is what the belt goes around, and the screw goes inside that. One on each side of that. There you go, and that's both of those off now. Right, so we should be open. There you go. Just wiggle that. I mean, you can see I'm just wiggling it gently. Don't ever apply too much force. You shouldn't need to. Right. Okay. So let's take a quick look at this. Let's just, hang on. Just going to set my camera up. Right. Okay. So now if I hold that up there, it should focus. Good. So this is the headphone jack there, and the soldered joints all around that look fine. And there you can see the surface mount components I mentioned, really big. They're really massive, chunky things. So yeah, I really don't see anything wrong with those soldered joints at all. I mean, I don't think I need to even reflow them. Like, what I'm looking for is a little sort of line in them. If it's known as dry joints. Like, if they over time they might just weaken, and you just see a little sort of line. So it's sort of like a circle around the pin, and that shows that the solder joint is no good. But honestly, these look fine. I sort of wonder if the guy that Simon sent them to might have done some basic stuff on it earlier. Yeah, I'm not sure. So the other thing I thought was a little odd, and maybe this isn't odd at all, but the belts on these, I've checked the spec, they're supposed to be square cross sections. Unfortunately, I've disabled the digital zoom on my camera by accident, so I can't get in much closer. But the belt here, it is square cross section, but normally with a square cross section belt, I would expect it to sit in flat against the wheel, but it does seem to be on its sort of pointy side, if you know what I mean, rather than flat sitting in the groove. Maybe if any of you know much about Walkmans, whether that's like normal or not, but I certainly wouldn't expect it to sit in there. I was wondering if, because these rubber belts can get really mushy and like leave a goo everywhere. Like, this belt looks new. I think it's been changed pretty recently, because it looks very, very clean, but it does look like there might be some old belt in some of those. I've forgotten the name of these things that belts go around. Help me out, my vocabulary has left me. Because yeah, I would expect it to sit in flat rather than at that angle. But I mean, I suppose that's okay. But let's get to the important bit, like the speed adjustment. And as far as I can tell, it's just this one little adjustment screw here that adjusts the speed. So I think we should just try adjusting that and see what happens, eh? Let's have a look. Some messages. Ben Everard saying he found a dry joint on a GPU, whacked it in the oven. Yeah, sometimes you can do that. You can reflow stuff in the oven. Worked for 6 months, that's great. Cool. Right, excellent. Sure. Okay, let's try the speed adjustment. So I'm going to get the rechargeables back in. And I'm going to get this tape playing again. Actually, let's just stop it, because it's quite annoying, isn't it? Let's get my waveform analyzer. The crazy thing is that I do actually have an oscilloscope, right? So I could set up all the proper gear to do it, but this seems to work pretty well, and I think is accurate enough for our needs here. But let's plug this in. First of all, do I have a screw tiny enough to go in there? I think I do. How about this? Oh, I think this one. Let's get my magnifying glasses on. Oh, what have I done with them? Oh, I really need to tidy up. Alright, I'll just have to use my normal glasses. Oh, that's fine actually. It's not crazy small. Let's just see if this goes in there. Yep, that seems to fit and is snug, so that's cool. So let's play the tape. Okay, I'm going to put the headphones near my microphone. There you go. So you can see that very strong peak there at 3,100-ish. Let's see if I change this, whether I can make that go down. That's going up. So now that's going down. And that's basically now, that was it, right? We're on roughly on 3000 hertz now. I think that looks pretty good to me. I think that's done. Okay, so I don't think there's anything else I want to do. I might just have a real close look at this belt. One second, let me find my glasses, my goggles. It's because I've rearranged my studio a little bit for this live stream. I know that's not really an excuse. But it's somewhat of an excuse. My stuff isn't where it normally is. Did I use them somewhere else today? Bear with me. I'll edit all this out here. Right. So if you do a lot of, you know, surface mount soldering, fine repairs, it's worth getting some goggles like this. It really does help. Oh, my new jam is watch restoration videos on YouTube. It's so cool. So good. Right, so I just want to have a real close look at this belt. I wonder if I can get it in. I mean, this might just be me worrying for nothing. This might be totally normal for these Walkmans. Let me just see if I can get that to sit in a bit more better. Yeah, I think it just wants to be at that angle. So I don't know, maybe that is normal. So if you imagine this square, so when I opened this up the first time, it was quite twisted. But if you imagine this square cross section of this pulley, this band, you know, it's sort of sitting into the groove in its sort of diamond formation, if you can imagine that. But you know, maybe that is totally normal. I mean, when I first saw this, I thought, oh, this should be a round cross-section belt. But I looked it up in the specs, and no, it should be a square cross-section belt, 1.2 millimeters, even. It's quite a thick one. But yeah, actually, you know, with that in mind, knowing that it should be 1.2 millimeters, looking at the shape of the groove in these discs, I think it's meant to run in that diamond cross-section. That slight rotation. Do you understand what I mean? Yeah. Hi Fish37, nice to see you again. You picked up the stream, that's cool. So I'm going to put this back together, and I'm just going to show you how to do some other bits of servicing on it. Let's put this back in first. Okay, so here's a really important thing, because these screws, you can see, are self-tapping. If that will focus, yes. So they're self-tapping screws, which means that they create their own thread as you drive them into the plastic. So particularly on vintage stuff, it's really easy when you're screwing these back in to create another thread. And that's something obviously you really want to avoid. So I'll show you how to get around that. So when you put these in, instead of just starting to drive them forward, like just drive them backwards a little bit until, did you see that little click? That meant it found the thread. I'm just going to keep going backwards. There, you heard that little click? That means it's found the thread. So now if I start going forwards, it means that it's not going to cut a new thread, it's going to just carry on into the thread that exists there already. So that's a really important tip for any vintage plastic stuff. Oh, well, this is awkward because one of the... Oh, I put it in already. I was like, where did the screw go? That's right here. I put it in already. How clever. All right, let's just reverse this. And hear that little click? Means it's found the thread. Let's push it in all the way. And they don't need to be super tight, so don't go crazy. The most important thing is not damaging the screws. That's pretty good to me. So now these two little ones, same deal, just go backwards first. The screwdriver doesn't fit these particularly well. Should be alright. Okay, so backwards first, a little click, finds the thread, screw it in. Not too tight, just tight enough. There you go. Okay. So, I noticed in the chat, if you had the Walkman from you, or was it a recent purchase? So people just joining the stream, I'll just do a little recap. This is my friend Simon's Walkman. It's very precious to him, but it was running a bit fast, so I'm fixing it. And Simon is there in the chat. Hello, Simon. Okay, so let's put these strap, whatever you'd call them, back in. So I think the easiest way is probably to put the screw in first. Can you see that? Focus, focus, focus. This camera's normally really good at focusing. There you go. So I've put it in its sort of sheath type thing. Dropped it in. Oh, you can't see it from that angle. Let's drop it in this hole all together like that. Yeah, it seems to have found its spot. Backwards till you find the thread, go in. Yep. Fish 37, that's one of those things which is really obvious in hindsight, the threading strategy. Yep, I learned that from a few YouTubers. Probably the most valuable thing I've learnt. But yeah, lots of YouTubers have mentioned it. I think probably the one I can remember seeing it first on was probably FranLab. So you should all follow FranLab. Her channel is really cool and interesting. Okay. So there we are. That's in. So the other bits of servicing that I already did was to clean the pinch roller and the capstan and the playhead. I mean, I might as well just do it again. Can't hurt. So we were thinking that maybe the pinch roller was slipping a bit, but because the speed was even, I don't think it was slipping. It seemed a little bit dirty, but it wasn't crazy. But you know, the way I would clean that is just press play, bring the stuff out. Where is my IPA alcohol? It's here. So IPA, isopropyl alcohol, really useful. It's probably my most important solvent. I use it all the time for everything. And I've got a little spray on the end of it. I got this from a vinyl cutting supplier, so they tend to have lots of this stuff and they have spray bottles. It's really useful. I like to take a cotton bud and just squirt it in, saturate the cotton bud with IPA. And then like the easy bit is to, just trying to get to an angle where you can see that. The easy bit is cleaning the playhead, because you can literally just do that. And the playhead looks pretty clean. I mean, I did already clean it, but when I cleaned it yesterday, it was also pretty clean. Like nothing showing up on that cotton bud, so it must be clean. The pinch roller, this rubber roller down there, just make sure you can see that. That's generally, whenever I clean that, it tends to give me a little bit more like dirtiness, I guess, because it literally is gripping that tape. Or it might just be a bit of the rubber sort of degrading, I'm not sure. But you'll usually find that initially at first there'll be quite a lot of darkness coming on that off of that, but there's nothing there really. And you can also just run it over the capstan as well. But really, this Walkman is in excellent condition. I probably wouldn't do anything else at all except maybe just give it a wipe with a microfiber cloth. I think that's all I want to do. I think that's basically it. So I'm going to get that sent off to Simon tomorrow, and hopefully I'll get it back. Now, I do. What's the time? 8:45. I do have Simon's wife Jerry's Walkman as well, but I haven't looked at that one yet. Save that for another time. Let's get this one back to Simon so he can get on working with stuff. Anyway, while I'm here, before I wrap up, are there any questions? Fish, I saw people recommending isopropanol for cleaning print beds. Do you know how well that works? Do you mean 3D printer print beds? If that's the case, then yes, they work really well. I use it to clean my 3D printer bed all the time. It's essential, really. One final part, of course, I should take out. Actually, let's leave those in for now because I'll listen to some music later. And obviously, I don't want to do that now and risk hitting some copyright strikes. But I'll check to see how in tune the pre-recorded best of REM. I should put it back on this. This is a much better view, isn't it? The picture-in-picture. Let's see how in tune this REM tape is compared to iTunes version. Yes, definitely get some isopropyl alcohol. It's very important. All right, well, I think that's probably everything for tonight. I hope it's been useful. Thanks for helping me check out the stream on my new channel. Thanks for joining my new channel, if you have. Simon's very happy camper in the chat there. Yeah, I'm sure this Walkman will continue to give you many years of joy, and maybe next time it's misbehaving, you can open it up and have a quick look yourself. Kenny Haycox, is the guitar keyboard in the background a practical instrument? Well, it's a real instrument. Whether it's practical or not is a different matter. But no, it's a MIDI keyboard, the COG RK100, the original, not the remake. And I've got some videos on my main channel where I restore that and get it working. It's quite old videos now, a few years old. But it's one of my favourite projects. I absolutely love it. So check out those videos if you're interested in that. It was quite an epic journey and it still needs a bit of restoration. I don't know, I might keep it for the patina, I'm not sure. But it's a beautiful thing. That really started off my keytar problem. I have probably 10 keytars now. You can see a stack of them there. I definitely need to fix those up too. Maybe some keytar videos are coming in the future. Right, okay, well, if there are no more questions, I think we'll wrap up. But yeah, thanks so much for joining us. And yeah, I will see you around on the next channel. Oh, coming up, remote joystick, remote Atari joystick on my main channel. Make sure you're subscribed. All right, thanks everyone for joining. See you later.